Singapore 345.
Go ahead, Singapore 345.
We observed this fox quite a while ago, and then shortly after issuing the takeoff clearance, it decided to cross the runway, and I thought it's better to stop your takeoff roll. It was a possibility that you hit it.
Thank you very much, Singapore 345.
Singapore 345, line up runway 16 and wait.
Line up runway 16 and wait, Singapore 345.
Up there 461 Tower, hello, line up runway 28 and wait. Takes around 3.5 minutes until the sun.
What's up, my boys? Welcome to Singapore.
I'm having a spicy margarita.
Tell them where
Wow.
we are though.
So we just flew in from Bali. Now we are on our last journey before heading back to Lisbon. And since it's our first day here in Singapore and we've been here before, we want to address something. We want to figure out if Singapore has soul and an authentic charm.
Because we've been here before, and last time we were here we did the most predictable touristy stuff that we really enjoyed, but it was all fancy pantsy, super posh and very expensive. This time we want to see what is the authentic way to discover Singapore.
We want to get away from the big hotel resorts with 2,000 rooms, so we're staying here at the Six Senses Duxton.
Which is not that hotel.
Well, it's pretty fancy hotel, but it's very charming. And this area where we're staying is a giant contrast to the Singapore we know from last time. One of the things that drove me absolute crazy last time we were here is that the prices were so high. Everything was expensive. I remember we paid 70 euros for 2 pizzas and 2 sparkling waters. I'm curious to know if it really is just that expensive, or it's possible to get food and whatever for decent prices.
So here we do have an example of where all the locals go to eat. So it's not the food court in Marina Bay Sands that every local goes to eat. They go here because apparently it's much more affordable. And we are gonna try out a similar experience tomorrow when we are going for a little food tour. But this is, if you are local, this is where you go, for sure.
But this is Chinatown we're in now, and that is something we're gonna explore a bit more of, because I like the area here. It seems charming. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanna come to Singapore for. I like this more than the big skyscrapers, but I like also the mixture of tall and low.
I think, Jon, that we already found like a little piece of charm here in Singapore, and we just got started. Because this is just a very beautiful contrast that you have all these small British colonial charming buildings, and then behind you just have these giant skyscrapers. And it kind of reminds me of Vietnam, but much more polished.
You know how they say that you can lick the floor of any public toilet here? And I like that it's clean, but it's just, I want some more raw side to it, some roughness, some uneven edges, some sand that is a bit not too fine, some
So one of the things that we didn't see much of last time we were here were like, at a creative angle of the restaurants and cafes, it felt like everything was quite the same. But just walking here in one of the more fancy areas, you actually see quite diverse and creative selection of restaurants.
But I don't feel like you don't get the pretentious vibe. It's much more down to earth here, and lots of pubs, Irish style, and I reckon that, without knowing, that this is an area where people they go to get hammered.
But it does seem, it's more like the humidity that seems like it's super high right now.
Cheers, Amanda.
Cheers, French wine and Singapore beer.
It's good to be back.
I knew that I was excited to go, but I'm actually more excited after being here. And I didn't expect that because it's not the first time we're here. But I think like the way that we are approaching Singapore this time is gonna be more interesting.
Okay, we didn't exactly succeed with finding the cheaper things because we just paid around 28 euros for one beer, a glass of wine, and a bottle of sparkling water. And then I said, this might be the most expensive beer I've ever had in my whole life. And then I googled Singapore. Guess what? It's the most expensive city in the world for the 5th year in a row.
Odd, but this painting is basically how I see Singapore. That you have these 3 different cultures here, that you have the Chinese and you have the Indian and you have the Malaysian people coming together here. This is just like so how I see Singapore. Chinese furniture shop.
We haven't bought anything, Amalie, on this trip here.
Nothing. Okay, watch out here.
We have to buy some useful souvenirs.
So I've been looking for these Chinese rolls. These?
Jade roll.
What do you call them?
Jade.
Jade? Oh yeah, the jade stone roll.
What is it exactly?
It's supposed to be good for blood circulation and wrinkles.
And you have a lot of the wrinkles.
Well, they are appearing slowly.
Yeah.
This is for sound therapy. Have you ever tried that, Joel?
I have never even heard of the concept.
Show you, so you see. You want to try?
Wow.
That's right. That's right. Can you feel the vibration?
I can feel it, yeah, easily.
This vibration is the healing vibration that goes in. Continue. Vibration that does the healing, and also to remove stress,
Really?
distress. No, not the stick. Cannot like that.
Oh, okay.
Must be, yeah.
Oh, it's
So must
beautiful.
really say this is from me, lah, huh?
I'm terrible at this.
Look.
Up
Supposed to
there?
be like that.
How?
Okay.
To touching the bowl all the time. Slowly. Better than nothing.
You look so stressed and you just look so calm when
This
you
is stressing me out.
Yes. Very good. I can hear it. Can you hear? See, when we tell him relax, he relax. Well,
We're getting a photo for the wall behind us.
can I?
Thank you very
from
much.
All from TripAdvisor.
It was
We
a
need that
pleasure.
support.
Yes.
You're gonna get it even better on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
We ended up getting the sound therapy balls. I feel like I got a good deal, and
Yeah.
that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah. Plus, imagine if it actually works against stress.
Yes.
That's a priceless investment.
Now we are in the famous Chinatown of Singapore.
Yeah. This is just like China.
And I don't know. But this is just the one place where I probably wouldn't buy anything. But I like looking. It's the same prices as in Denmark, actually. It's super expensive. But this one is pretty.
If you ever get serious about making a food vlog, this is where you buy all the plates for.
But look how Portuguese this one looks, actually. This could easily be in Portugal that we found this plate.
I'm actually quite positively surprised about what we have seen so far of Singapore, the authentic part. Obviously, Chinatown here is super touristy, but you still feel like it has some depth, some culture. It feels more rich as opposed to going to Gucci and Louis Vuitton in Marina Bay Sands shopping mall or the Orchard shopping street. Like, it's also polished and you know everything there. You've seen the shops a billion times before, but here there's a lot of diversity. I think most of the stuff here is garbage, but I think you can find some fun souvenirs.
And then while you are walking here shopping, you are surrounded by this beautiful architecture that the British Empire built when they were ruling Singapore. It's just so pretty. I love it here. Whew. Always get cash for the food market. It's important, very important.
If you want food. Oh,
That's right.
this looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. This is roasted duck. This is roasted duck.
Could be dog.
No,
We
well,
are in Chinatown.
It looked like a duck, but this is like something that I had in China a lot when I was there with my family, and it just tastes delicious. It's a bit cold, but it's the flavor of the duck is really, really, really good. Really good.
Really good? And by the way, this beer was $6.50, so almost 3 times cheaper than the one I had before. So it's not like a beer is 16 euros everywhere in Singapore. You can't get it cheap, relatively cheap. It's still not cheap, but I have the pork belly here, probably the highlight.
There's bones in it.
No bone.
Oh, good. How's the flavor?
Amazing. Amazing. The problem with pork belly often is that either there's too much fat or too little fat. This has the perfect amount of fat, meat, and crisp. And this was $4 and $4 for the other one. That's a cheap meal. Man får nok en bøde for det. Are you happy with your new sound bowl?
I love it. Anti-stress.
The question we asked to begin with, does Singapore has any charm or soul or authenticity? I think
today proved that they actually have it.
Yeah. I mean,
But
like,
you have to search for it.
but not really. I mean, it's just go to the area we are, because I feel that this area here is where you get what Singapore used to be.
But we have actually only scratched the surface today, because we only went to the Chinese part of Singapore. Singapore has a giant Indian part as well, and a Malay part as well.
This hotel here, Six Senses Doxton, is I love Six Senses. I think it's the best hotel brand in the world. Every hotel they have is unique.
But still, like.
But with such like warmth and it's just you feel like you're coming home to your parents and they really love you and
They take care
they
of
have
you.
a lot of money as well because they have this nice house here.
Ej, Jon, jeg ved.
Jeg tror halvdelen.
Du gjorde ikke. Since we woke up 5 o'clock this morning, we are quite tired. So I think we should just enjoy this beautiful room and then get very well rested for tomorrow where we're doing a food tour here in Singapore.
A food
Tour. So yeah, without further ado.
Ado.
Yes, yeah, ado.
Ado?
Without further ado, I am gonna say goodbye to you and you and you and you.
I hope you like this video and give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it.
We're gonna give you more Singapore tomorrow
Jesus Christ.
at the local, guys.